All right, guys, you ready? You awake? Did you get coffee? Exciting world of shipping. Couple housekeeping. I accept tips too, but couple housekeeping things. Luggage can be stored next door or in the back of the room here. So if you guys got to check out and leave some stuff, you can store it here. There is no bellhop, so don't, put a little mark if you don't know what your bag looks like. They'll do that. One of the other things I want to mention is the seat, on your seat drop today, you have the QR code for our survey. There are prizes to win if you do that, so it may only take a few minutes to do that, so I appreciate you doing that. The other thing, you got a seat drop this morning from one of our partners, our sponsors, Cipher Labs. And the sales department has started offering in the last year Cipher Labs handheld devices. And I want to talk about just for a little bit. I know we got to get to shipping. I think we'll have plenty of time, but Cipher Labs devices, if you are, obviously your warehouse, you have current Motorola, Zebra, Symbol, Honeywell devices. Wisys decided a year ago to start selling devices because it was a convenience for our customer, right? We're having those, Bob and I and Brennan are having those conversations with companies, and it's time for a lot of the older companies that have older devices to upgrade and get new ones. We partnered with Cipher Labs. We've certified the devices with Wisys. It's not necessarily the white glove treatment. We have partners that will help you through the warehouse planning, labeling, printers, things like that. We wanted to do it because people just called me and said, hey, where can I get a device for my Wisys, right? Where can I get some devices? So we partner with Cipher Labs, and through conversations with sales, we can talk about the different types, but you have a nice little brochure there of Android devices. So take a look. If you have questions about them, obviously we're around, we can answer them and talk through that. So today's discussion is agility shipping. Agility shipping is a great product, in my opinion. We started it in about 2021 developing a shipping solution. And you ask, Aaron, why is Wisys getting into shipping? First of all, it allows us to seamlessly integrate from receiving all the way to relief of the inventory with one solution. We're scanning things already today. We're doing, we're using Wisys to scan barcodes. It's like, why aren't we doing this at the end? And everybody was coming with kind of like their own solution, right? Does Wisys integrate with Starship? Does Wisys integrate with ShipStation? Does Wisys integrate with ShipRush, which was what we did, right? So we put some time in development a long time ago, and let's integrate shipping, small package shipping. We've always had the LTL truckload, if you're familiar with Wisys, the ability to ship out that. And there is some advancements in that portion as well, coming with partners integrating for rate shopping for LTL truckload and deliveries like that. But we decided to get into the world of shipping. Now, I am never going to claim to fame that we are the end-all, know-all about shipping, right? There are complete companies dedicated to the shipping process. Companies have unique needs. Not saying that we are the end-all, but we can do almost anything with shipping. So we're going to show you today a little bit about the seamless integration of shipping. So obviously the key here is one less add-on I got to worry about, one less support team I got to call. We can deal with Wisys through shipping, right? Not to go through a slide by slide, but obviously we want to improve that efficiency. A lot of times where people, it's like the double checks. We need to recheck what we shipped out was right. Well, we're going to validate that with scans in Wisys. We're going to use scanning completely all the way through where we ship. And then we're going to use composite transaction to return information from any of the carriers. So I know the question is going to be, what carriers do you work with? UPS, FedEx, and USPS today. We'll talk about advancements coming, because there's a lot of them coming. Maybe some additional carriers, things like that. And I have Gabe as my backup, who is one of the lead developers of this product. So any technical questions you guys might have, we'll hopefully be able to answer those to you today. But as far as the product goes, this is one of the products that we have put a lot of effort into, but a lot of enhancements you'll see if you do look at our release updates. We're always adding to the product, right? We're always making it better because our customers and our partners are saying, hey, Aaron, that's great, but I need this. I need that, right? And we've continuously over the past 5 years done that. I think it's pretty is pretty robust right now. So we'll take a look at some of that in a second. Let's see what else I got here. Obviously, like I said, complete integration, multi-carrier support, less add-ons, but where do we live in a world of right now? It's the one point is real-time updates. And we'll talk a little bit about the application. So today, typically, most people, and I deal a lot with SAP world, they want to use a shipping station. So you have your FedEx or UPS World Ship on a web browser, on your computer, in an area where you have shipping and packing. Some people will pick and pack in the aisle, but most people have a location or a staging area where they bring a shipping area where they bring everything over to, right? So they bring it over to you, we're gonna box it, pack it up, and we're gonna ship it out. So the Wisys solution runs on a desktop today. It's called Fulfillment, and if we could switch that over real quick, I'll show that here. So it's called Fulfillment Manager. You might call it in Macola, you might call that PickPack, and I know we're talking about PickPack 5. So this is actually the same solution you would use for LTL truckload shipments. This is our shipping tree where we build advanced shipments, ASNs, things like that, all happen within this solution. But this is where we create our shipments. So you'll see in the upper left-hand corner the new shipment button, right? Just like you're using today, you have the ability to create shipments. I can put things in cartons. I can use pallets. If you see there, I can build pallets with this. I can build cartons here, and I can add items to a shipment, right? Pretty standard. All associated with a sales order today, so it's directly through sales order, and I'll talk about some of the advancements we're gonna be doing, but you have a sales order, and we're gonna be able to build shipments on here. Now, if you use the handheld, obviously you're probably gonna start with standard WMS. I wasn't gonna go too deep in WMS doing handheld movements here. You can pick, you can pack on the handheld, and you can bring those shipments directly in here. If you look on the right-hand side, there's a little box that says shipment number. I can look up shipments, so if I build a shipment on the handheld, I can look that up and bring that right into the shipping tree. So we can do all the manual labor with the handheld device. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or a smaller group here, so we can answer some questions. This is where you build the shipments, and then we're gonna integrate that into Agility Shipping, which is another step within this process. So anybody have any questions about LTL truckload or anything I can answer? Great. So I am going to build a shipment on the handheld, just show you how that's done. If I hit the new shipment button, now in this case, it offers the availability to do a trailer, pro number, if I'm gonna do obviously a truckload. But in this case, I don't need to do that, right? Because we're shipping out UPS, FedEx. Actually, sorry, I skipped one part of my presentation here that we need to go to. Let's look at setup real quick. Before we get into shipping and Agility Shipping, let's go into setup. And this is in the options in the Agility Explorer desktop. So for Macola people, if you have this, you can do this on the desktop. Every SAP customer needs to have at least one Agility Explorer desktop for administration, right? So this is where we do all of our settings. For Wisys WMS as well, things like packaging. So remember, if any of you were in my pallet view demonstration yesterday, we have the ability to look at package sizes, right? So we can preset all of our package types in SAP. And that, when we talked about that AI box packing yesterday, this is kind of where that comes into, right? So we have all my boxes, I have my containers, my cartons, even pallets in here. So we set up those right within Wisys settings. So we have the packages that we need to pack and ship small package. So I just wanted to show that to you real quick. There are some settings within Wisys that we can do, and we can say we allow for over shipping, under shipping, require package dimensions, some of those basic things that we might require. They're all in the Wisys settings. There's also just some standard shipping charges that you can add internally, you know, not including the carrier charges, but my internal extra charges, you know, additional package charge, handling fees that you would call those in your business today. That all can be set up within there as well. Obviously, for you guys, just so you know, mapping for EDI transactions, so we make sure that your EDI partner that you use can work with Wisys and get all that information in there. It's all set in there. And then just so you guys know, if you didn't, you can attach a scale via USB to that local shipping station. So I know as we get into the browser world and things that we're doing next, I don't know how they're going to do that. There's got to be a way, but they're going to be, obviously you can connect a scale so you can weigh these items when you're shipping them, if necessary. So let's look at the new agility. I say new, but it's 5 years now. These are the settings that we've created for agility shipping. There's a laundry list of things that people have requested, asked for. Basic settings, label setup is all done within Wisys, so you could have specific labeling, return labels with, logos and things like that. They all can be set here. Insurance values, signature required, email notifications that you can set up to process an email when a shipment has been shipped. That's all right here within Wisys setup. So carrier settings. So as I said before, we have 3 small package integrations through APIs that allow us to ship, and that's UPS, FedEx, and USPS. Some of you may have gone through these setups already. Some are easier than others. Has anybody here tried to use Wisys Agility Shipping with FedEx? So the carrier setup and the label validation, I guess it's called certification, is less than delightful, I guess you would say. So it can. It's really when they get rejected, right? So, these carriers require you to have a standardized label, right? You can't print something on an 8.5 11 by sheet. They require these for label. Once you get them set up, you're pretty much golden. But FedEx is the one that really requires a validation or a certification to do that.
It's not super clear how you're supposed to get it certified.
Yeah.
It's supposed to all be done through the portal, but some people get sort of waylaid into trying to email it to people.
Gotcha.
So
I've heard of the struggles. I know that I look at the support tickets like that. It's really not that difficult if you did it right the first time. So if you fail and it keeps coming back, that I guess 72 hours is what they say is, the standard for that. So in this settings, we can turn on those specific carriers, have active carriers, and have a default carrier right there. So if you take a look here, and I'll just show it, I'm using a live UPS account or live test account, so we can do some shipments, but all those are set up within the carrier settings. Shipping accounts, we can have third-party shipping accounts, right? So you could have, your customer's shipping accounts if you're going to bill to your customer. These are all standard shipping processes that you could do. But I could have different accounts within my company as well. So I'm going to, I have 4 or 5 lines of business. We're going to ship that from, location A, B, or C, and they have different accounts, contracted accounts. Shipping labels, obviously they're standard shipping labels, but there are labels modifiable. Some people actually, I think Bob had this where a customer wanted to attach the packing list on the same sheet as the shipping and the return label on there, so pre-send all that out to them. You can adjust that by the settings in there. And obviously, all this can be used using the Wisys label design software. Again, another integration, another place where you keep it in one solution. We can help you with all those too. Rates. So you may just want to use standard rates with UPS or FedEx. You might have contracted rates. We can use contracted rates or just standard rates as well. So your company may be high volume enough where you get a better contracted rate. Wisys will utilize all those within your rates here. And again, another place where you can add markups, handling fees. That's all going to be brought back into the ERP, those preset definitions of prices there, right? And that's where the contracted rate comes in. So, you get some options with that. First package charge, you could charge by number of packages. Just additional fees that you can actually manually put into your system, right? So it's getting pretty robust. I know people that adopted this in the early years, a lot of this maybe not have been in there, but we are completely adding a bunch of things. One of the things that we added, and I've been through this myself, so it's crazy, but when we started Agility Shipping, it was just US to US shipping, really just, ship something from Buffalo, New York to Columbus, Ohio. You could do it easily. First customer I sold it to, what did they want? Well, we want to ship to Canada. Great. And then the second customer I got, we need Canada to Canada shipping. I'm like, okay. So we have fully integrated international shipping from within Wisys, but we've fully integrated origination of U.S., Canada today, right, Gabe? And then we can ship to anywhere in the world. So we don't work Mexico yet. That's one that I am working on. Well, I'm not doing it, but somebody's going to work on it. But yeah, we can ship anywhere in the world. I think military bases is the one thing that we don't ship to. Okay, through USPS we can ship to military bases. So just to say this is before we had a lot of constraints of where we could ship from, ship to, and that is opening up to the world, right? So that's all set up within here. Commodity codes, customs forms. I know nothing about those, but I can get you to the person that wants to talk, if you want to talk about that stuff. Brokers, producers, all that jazz, all that is in here within Wisys. So we've enabled this to be completely international shipping because we're an international company. Why wouldn't we do that, right? There's different types of mappings, and I don't need to go too much into this, but you have the overnight, next day air, all that in there, so you could set and map all those, the solutions that you use, right? There's some settings now for the standard FedEx box, those boxes you get there that is like, this is the one rate box, I guess you call it. You can map all those within here, so when we map those in the ERP, you can identify in the sales order what service you want to use. That's all done through there as well. And there's some table maintenance here for third-party accounts, validation of addresses. I know people want to validate addresses and that's all within Wisys too. You can do the maintenance. So just some housekeeping on that, or just some setup. Anybody have questions on setup, or anybody struggling with anything, or have questions about that? Steve?
Did it automatically pull in third-party accounts from a customer and B1?
Gabe, does it automatically pull in third-party accounts from B1?
Not at this time. Currently, it has to go through our mapping tables. Future enhancements that are coming will allow mapping from user-defined tables, UDFs and B1.
So today you have to do what? I didn't get that.
You have to use the table maintenance.
Okay.
The third-party account table maintenance.
Does that answer your question, Frank? Yeah. So we're going to make this a little more seamless, even more in enhancement. Great. Yeah, we'll definitely get to some enhancements. I think one of the questions you guys probably have right up front for me is, does it rate shop? And that is an enhancement coming with the new pick pack, new fulfillment. We've attempted to do rate shopping a few times in the past, and with the current way we're doing it, it's not doing it. So right now, you're getting your contracted rate. You can switch between, and I'll show you this, you can switch between the map items for overnight, next day, but you don't have the ability to rate shop between carriers today. But I'm excited for that to be coming shortly. So any more questions? Any questions? All right. So these are the settings. We're going to go into our fulfillment manager here. And like I said, this is where we build shipments. You can do this on a desktop. You can do this on a mobile device. We can build shipments here to ship out small package. So let's do that real quick. And I'm going to try to scan as much as I can. Obviously, you guys saw that my printer didn't work yesterday, which Bob would give me crap for not being prepared. But we'll get through it together. Obviously, I can do lookups, I can do scans, things like that. So in this case, I'm going to add a carton. This is a Wisys carton, right? And it's going to bring up the carton. Now, we have some settings in fulfillment that you guys may know about. I'm going to have the package information, the lines to pack. Obviously, I got to bring in the sales order before it identifies what I have to pack. But there's some of the views at the bottom so I can get deeper visibility into this specific order that I'm doing. So I'm just going to bring a box in, and we're going to add items to the box. So obviously, I have to look up the order right now. And the order that I'm going to work with is $14.94. And I'm going to actually relate this to SAP. So I searched it, I can type it, I can scan it. If that order is on the box label that we've created packaging. So I'm building the shipment here at the at the desktop shipping station, this can all be done on the handheld as well. How many of you guys do pick and pack in the aisle? Does anybody do that here? Okay, pick and pack. It really depends on your business, right? How does it work? I have many businesses that are like a one and done. They put one thing in a box, they pack it up, and they do all the picks from the handheld. So I don't want to get into the picking portion or the things that we do before with WMS. So here, we're actually going to select this order. And I bring that order up, it drops the next qualifier, which is the item, and I'm going to scan that item. I'm going to... what that noise is. Scan an item. Okay. We're going to look up an item. We want to keep this flowing. We want to go fast. I've never heard that noise in my life. So we're going to take the Heart Ice Roller that we have. And obviously, we can do, again, on the handheld, we can pick and stage this. We can direct it, pick it. We can get it to... What I've done is I've actually brought everything already over to the staging area. So the bin location, you can pick it from any bin, but it defaults to the stage bin because that's where we, most people have a staging area here. And we are going to say we have 10 of these. Okay. Super easy, right? And it's going to add those items to the box. I also have down here now, it shows me, based on that order, the other items that I need to be packing, right? So what else is on this order? Shows that to me here. I'm actually going to do a new box. I want to show you a couple boxes. So we're going to do another carton. We're going to add the second item here. It defaults the order now because we're working on the same order on the same shipment, right? You could have multiple orders on a shipment, but we're just doing one here. We're going to take the second one. And we're going to do 10 of these. So obviously, the optimal way to do this is scanning. And I have a USB scanner. It could be a Bluetooth scanner if you're going to use a shipping station. This is where a lot of the people ask me, I just want to use shipping independently. I don't want to do WMS. I just want to buy your shipping solution, which you can do. You could actually buy a couple of these licenses. Obviously, one at a shipping station, one to administer, or the one could be the same. But a lot of people want to use we just want to do shipping. Well, so they're going to do a lot of these lookups, because they're not using WMS to scan. They're not making the process flow all the way through. So you can do it. It's just intended to work seamlessly with your WMS. You guys get that one? I know somebody wants, but some of the enhancements that are coming will allow you to ship, not from an order, independent, just shipping. Somebody says, I just want to send a sample to somebody. It's not in inventory. I just want to use it as a shipping thing. That's some of the enhancements that are coming. So that's a really cool feature that I've been looking forward to, right? So I've fulfilled this. Now, again, if it's batch tracked, I will scan the batches, serialize, I'll scan the serialization. What a lot of customers come to me and say, I always have somebody double check this stuff. So you're actually doing that by scanning. You're scanning the items the first time to pick them. You're scanning them to pack them. We've really validated 2 times that we're putting the right product into the right boxes, and we're going to ship it out. So, right now in Wisys, the shipping method is set default by the sales order. And I understand that these changes in the real world, changes in the real world happen. They want to send it out FedEx later. They want to send you, they're just going to, the shipping manager is going to make the decision how it gets shipped. I understand that. But today, right now, we have it based on the sales order, but I have the availability to update the transport code so it writes back, and I can actually change the carrier without going back to the sales order to do it or having somebody in the ERP do it. They can do it right here from within the shipping. So it gives the flexibility of the shipping manager, but it's defaulted by what the sales order said. Understood? Cool. All right, so we have a shipment on this sales order, and I'm going to show the sales order. It is SAP, so don't worry if you're Macola. It's just a sales order. Won't hurt anybody. You'll see here that when I go that, I'm going to show you the validation. Typically, in LTL truckload today, you're just going to hit that TL, LTL button. It's lit up blue. In SAP, it creates the delivery note, so I don't have to put any data in there, information. but it's gonna do the work from converting from sales order to a delivery, right? But we wanna ship with agility shipping. So at this point, this is really where agility shipping comes into play. This is standard product, right? This is out of the box. And I'm not sure how Bob's modules work. I know it's a separate piece where they pay a subscription for agility shipping. In the SAP world, it's just a different level of our licensing. But this is where the agility shipping actually gets activated. So people kind of confuse that sometimes. When I hit the UPS and you see the UPS is lit up in their great brown color, brown and orange colors, but I can't click on FedEx or USPS. That's only today, right? But I click on that, and it's gonna bring up the agility shipping screen. So this may look more familiar. This is where the API comes into it, right? This is where I have my dimensions in my ERP. So it's gonna actually put any of my weights and measures that I have by items or by packages in there, right? I can use my scale. So there's an F5 button that says get weight, right? So I can actually get an actual weight. Down at the bottom, you'll see the shipment weight there. I'm sorry, it's a little hard to see if you guys are far in the back. But my bill to address is here. I can add other qualifiers like a signature, residential, Saturday, all the same stuff that UPS does, right? Email notification there. But I have my packages ready, 2 packages. I can at this time adjust the service type. So if Bob's in the warehouse and he says, oh man, this has got to go overnight, you can change that right here, right? It's by carrier now, so I can change that right now. But I'm gonna keep it at ground, right? I can adjust my from address, right? So we're gonna have drop shipping, third-party shipping. If this was a third-party account, you'd see that little third-party light up here, right? So I can make changes here. Hopefully my zip code's right. It's gonna do validation, so we wanna make sure everything's correct here, right? Change the from. If I go on the from here, I can look at the from. So if I have, my other company that it's gonna come from, I could change it there. Any references or any documents there is where you could do that. So this is the shipping stream, this is the world ship, but it's all integrated into that fulfillment manager. This is the magic of Wisys, the secret sauce. We're gonna do a composite transaction with a single click of the button. It's gonna do multiple actions, right? This is what we use our tool set for. This is what we've designed Wisys to be beneficial to you guys. I'm gonna hit the ship button. Now, hopefully, Gabe and Jim have given me good enough internet to go out to the APIs and return some stuff here. So you'll see it drops me back to that fulfillment. There's a tracking information right there. There's the shipping label right there, right? I did 2 boxes, right? Well, guess what? It's got to give me 2 shipping labels. There's my 2 shipping labels. So I have those, I put them on the box, I put them on the truck. Now, you're saying, Aaron, I can also automate. I'm going to bring that shipment back up. But, I wanted a packing list to come out. I wanted an instruction manual. I wanted a hazardous materials handling sheet. Any of the documents you set up in Wisys Document Manager, I don't know if you've been through that session or if it's today. Let me open this up a little bit. But I've just printed out the packing list for this shipment, right? I can print out a bill of lading. I can print out a love note to the customer, whatever I want to do, right? I can do that right in our document management. So I have done that as well. I could also print out package labels if I want a unique package label. All this, these are crystal reports here. There's a bill of lading, just for an example that you could see, that the items have been shipped, right? So in this case, you'll see here that it's very, very small. But obviously, all this through Agility Explorer desktop, you can see all this, right? You'll be able to use your grids and what's been shipped, what's been confirmed shipped, what hasn't been shipped. But there's a little S there, so this has been shipped. It's done. I don't know what else you want me to do, right? I'm going to go into the ERP now. Yeah.
So in that particular case there, you ship 2 cartons.
2 cartons.
You separate the pack slip, say pack slip 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, and only put the item that's in each box.
So I'm sure that I've never done that, but I'm sure that our customers have done that. Jim probably could answer. You're sitting right there because he knows that. But I've never seen that happen. But yeah, you can divide it by carton. You put 1 in one box, 1 in the other box. you know, you really want to say what's in the contents of those boxes, right? Absolutely. So I have a sales order here. Tough to see, but I'm just going to hit the refresh here, and you'll see that it's delivered everything. So obviously, we can manage the back orders. We can view that in Agility Explorer, but with that composite transaction, it's closed the sales order, right? If I take a look at the document associated with it, do a relationship map here. It's created that delivery. So I could have multiple shipments on a sales order. I mean, these are just standard things. I could have multiple shipments, but in SAP, it's called a delivery, right? So I've had the delivery. I can convert this invoice, but it's going to return my freight charges. So you see down there my freight charges. It's hard to see. It's in there. It's there. Trust me. And then under my logistics tabs, it returns those tracking information here. So you could set up automation, whether it's B1 Up or your own automation, or and then have that automatically email the customer whatever process you have or integration you have to do that. You could do it manually too. All that's visible in Agility Explorer Desktop. That'll allow you to manage your shipments as well. So that's where I wanted to go. I'm hopefully left enough time because I know you guys want to talk. So, like I said, some of the advancements, rate shopping is huge. I get asked about it every day, every single day that we talk about it. There's just a few things like that people ask about. Rate shopping is a number one for me, and it is coming. So what I did there is I returned from the API the shipping prices, but I had no ability to see the competitive prices, and that's where we're going with our next project. And Gabe said it'd be done like April 1st, I think, right?
Sorry, what was that?
Rate shopping and the new pick pack fulfillment April 1st?
No.
Sorry. I will keep you all posted. I mean, there's no doubt as soon as I get that, because obviously all the improvements in that picking solution, wave picking, I don't want to say all the time, wave picking, pick to light, all the different stuff that we're going to do with our own picking solution, taking it out of the ERP, is all part of that, and we have to do that for the rate shopping. We've attempted it so many times, and we just figured we had to rewrite the whole darn thing. So that's coming. So if I could answer any questions, any use cases, anything that you want to talk about, I'm happy to do that. Steve?
At the beginning, you hinted that LTL rate shopping was coming?
Yes, so one of our technology partners that's here is a sponsor, WWEX. They, so what Steve asked is LTL freight rate shopping. And this is actually generated, this was the interest generated from one of our customers, a bigger customer. They needed this. And my co-salesperson, Bob, talked to the company, and they were talking to this partner. So they've kind of partnered with us, and they are partnering with us to deliver that solution for LTL freight. I think 120 carriers they use, different, I asked them about Bob's shipping in Canada, because these are the things people ask me. Hey, what carriers do you integrate with? Well, part of what we're doing is we're partnering with a company that will offer a solution for us and do the integration. So a partner that, will be all integrated into our product. And I thank Bob for getting that. Big proponent, pushing, because, big customers, they want options. So they're here in the back. See, I gave you a shout out. Working together with them, so they're actively working on customers right now and helping Gabe and the team, the development team, get that. So it's not released yet, but I'm excited to have a new product to offer people. Again, one less add-on. The AI is all this. Like, if you can go to Wisys for everything, if you can, hey, it relates to WMS, it relates to shipping, it relates to, all the stuff you're doing in that. It's really great to have less add-ons, and that's what we're trying to do. But we want to make sure that we give you the value it deserves. That's why you guys pay maintenance. This is why we do updates. This is why it's important to, hey, we should update, because there are enhancements, not just bug fixes that we do. Thanks, Steve, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd like to know all those. I know there's a boatload, and I had a chance to talk to them. But they are having, weekly, bi-weekly meetings about all this stuff. So, yeah, and then hopefully we'll get some good use case and some good feedback from those customers that are using it. Anything else? Yes, sir. Electronic trade documents. Is there additional setup for that, Gabe? Can I show anything?
With the electronic trade documents, you need the commodity codes, you need sometimes producer broker information. But yeah, if those check boxes are checked, then we send that information. One of the things that we've been asked for and we'll be adding in a future release is the ability to default those on shipments, because now you have to go into every shipment and hit it. So you'll have an option to default those to always be on and then uncheck them. So that will help a lot of people out. But yeah, just the commodity codes, that's the big thing for the commercial invoice data and stuff like that.
Anybody want to ask anything about handheld devices? Anything else I can answer? I'm here. You got me. This is our last day together. So if you have questions, I'm here to answer them. All good?
The same stuff that's right back to Nicola somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, we,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, Macola, we write back to the header freight, the AR,
Packing slips, all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the ARS HT FIL table, and then you can also go back to the line comments.
Yeah. Bob kicked me out of Macola about 7 years ago. He doesn't let me talk to you guys too often, but at least you got somebody specialized in each ERP right now, which is great. Yeah. All right. Well.
Hey,
got a
one
couple
thing.
minutes. Yeah.
So Andrea's in the back.
Yes.
And she is with Worldwide Express. That's what Aaron was talking about.
Yes. Thank you.
So I have a customer in Missouri, DeWitt, and they have like 3 or 4 people that spend like 6 hours, each one of them, shopping all their LTL freight. They're going to get that down to one person with a couple hours. So it's huge. I've been wanting this forever. So it's happening. So if you're interested, Andrea, she's in the back. She knows everything about it. So
Yeah. Thanks.
anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah. Again, Bob's been the champion of this, and I'm kind of tagging along. I'm like, yeah. Well, my customers ask about this all the time as well. You know, third-party freight and rate. I mean, obviously, rate shopping in SAP. You know, it's a little different. They really want small package rate shopping, which we're going to deliver that too. So, thank you, Bob. All right. Well, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day and see some cool stuff. And grab me if you want to chit chat, if you want to talk about